In the next half hour on the marketplace, the Bank of Ghana declines invitation to help parliamentary investigation into revocation of banking licenses of defunct UT and UNIBANK. Also, food prices expected to go up by 20%. We'll hear from the Chamber of Agribusiness Ghana, which attributes the prediction to the recent increase in transport and fuel prices.
Food prices will definitely increase, and I've been discussing this with our colleagues and members of the chamber and the private sector at large. Food prices will go up no less than 20% because the odds are against us.
Plus, we talk about the Green Ghana Dream. Cocoa Board plants more than 1.6 million trees in the 2020-2021 crop year. Hello once again, welcome to the program. To our first story now, where Ghana Cocoa Board is planting over 1.6 million forest trees in the 2020-2021 cocoa crop year on cocoa farms across the country, and also as part of its national cocoa rehabilitation program. Now, Cocoa Board is embarking on the rehabilitation program to replace about 40% of the country's cocoa tree stock, which are either overaged or affected by the cocoa swollen shoot virus disease. The farms undergoing rehabilitation are being replanted with high-yielding, early-bearing and disease-tolerant hybrid seedlings developed by the Cocoa Research Institute of Ghana. Thankfully, we're joined via Zoom by the head of the public affairs at the Ghana Cocoa Board, Fifi Boafo, with more on this. Fifi, we're so grateful that you made time to speak to us on this. Walk us through the target areas of this exercise.
Well, the target areas, just as you know, it's all the cocoa growing regions, but the concentration is in Western North, Eastern region, as well as Western South and part of Central region, because these are the places you have cocoa swollen shoot endemic places. So the expectation is to ensure that we are able to rehabilitate these farms, and as part of the rehabilitation program, also to grow these commercial trees, which will be beneficial to the farmers eventually.
We know that Cocoa Board has made it mandatory for the planting of temporary shade crops and permanent shade trees on all farms before the cocoa seedlings are transplanted. Now, what is the timeline for this exercise as well?
It's an annual thing. Every year, what we do as part of our rehabilitation program is also to have the shade trees. But this year alone, we are planting about 1.67 million trees. So this will be done just this year. Let me make the point that apart from that, over the years, we've been planting the shade trees or the commercial trees as part of a cocoa farm. But this specific figure is just restricted to this year. Okay.
Well, of course, we also do know, Fifi, that the seed production division of Cocoa Board has produced 92 million seedlings for distribution for farmers across the country for planting. Tell us more about this initiative as well.
Well, the seed production division over the years produced seedlings for cocoa farmers. But what we're doing differently this year is that we are using soilless medium to produce the seedlings. And on top of the fact that we are changing the medium, because the soilless medium is able to, in fact, the survival rate is better compared to the system which we used to use over the years, is the fact that because of the rehabilitation program, there's the need for us to increase the seedlings we are producing so that a number of farmers can benefit from these arrangements.
All right.
So that is why we have this 93 million seedlings that has been produced.
But in all of this, even as you're embarking on this, aggressive program, there is a scourge of illegal mining. There is a scourge of, most of the cocoa farmers giving up their farmlands for rubber planting. How are you balancing all these, challenges?
It's indeed a major threat, specifically the issue about illegal mining, because it is competing with cocoa. As we speak now, we have farmers who are even in a building presently engaging with us because their farms are being overtaken by illegal miners. Cocoa Board, what we are doing presently is that we have our legal team helping the farmers who are being affected by this unfortunate incident so that they are able to pursue the issue through court. The farmers themselves, our records show that on their own find it very difficult to have legal representation, are able to deal effectively with this situation. So Cocoa Board is collaborating with farmers who have suffered this unfortunate incident, or there's a threat of their farms being lost to these illegal miners. We'll give them legal representation, and it is our expectation that our collaboration and cooperation with them will yield better results and will be able to protect the farms. One of the incidents we've recorded is that even some of the farms which we have rehabilitated freshly, these illegal miners are actually taking over the farms, and this is a major threat because considering the input and considering the investment going into it, and then eventually to be lost to illegal mining, suddenly it will not be worth the cost or will not be worth the investment into that activity. So yes, we are working on it, and it's our expectation that considering all the interventions and the programs and the improvement in the yield of the farmers, which will eventually improve their financial status, the farmers will believe, with our expectation, that they will accept the fact that cocoa stands a better chance of improving their situation instead of opting for any other activities such as those you've mentioned.
Fifi, once again, we're having this discussion in the back of some meetings that the EU held with Ghana and Ivory Coast regarding sustainability within the cocoa value chain. Already we're hearing that Ivory Coast is pleading for some time, especially when, the value chain of production does not speak to the need for sustainability, child labor, deforestation, illegal mining, as we're having here in Ghana. Help me understand the case here in Ghana regarding sustainable cocoa farming.
Well, what I can say is that, in fact, I just stepped out of one of such meetings with the European Union, and the conversation is ongoing. We do not really think that there's a major threat in terms of sanctions from the European Union, because we have always insisted that we here in Ghana are undertaking sustainable cocoa production, adhering to all the ethical issues. We do admit to some extent that there are some challenges, but then those challenges, we do not think that they are in such a high level which affect generally production of cocoa in Ghana. But also to say that there are systems and structures in place, and these systems and structures are able to deal with all the concerns that are raised. So, for example, issues about deforestation. Presently, the cocoa management system which we are undertaking will be able to identify all farmers who are into forest zones, and then this system will help us take them out of the forest zones. In the case of child labor, I think to a large extent we've been able to get them to understand that there's a need for us to appreciate the difference between child work and child labor. Whereas in a situation whereby a researcher goes to the farming community or the farmstead, sees a child there who did not go to school, and automatically come to the conclusion that that child is involved in child labor, whereas that's where the child lives. So there's a need for us to appreciate the cultural differences, our geographical differences, and the lifestyle of the people, so that we do not mix the issues and create a very wrong impression that, well, there are children in Ghana who are involved in child labor, whereas that is not exactly what the situation is.
Well, finally, before we let you go, so where do we see the production targets of cocoa for the crop season, amidst all these that we've discussed regarding the tree planting and matters to arrest issues of Galamsey?
The expectation of most people is that, considering the challenge we face with regards to illegal mining taking over a number of our cocoa lands, as well as rubber and other cash crops, our production will go down. But you agree with me that we've been talking about this over the years. One of the questions I do not always want to answer is our production targets, because it has a way of affecting the price at the international market. Except to say that there are a number of interventions like pruning, like hand pollination, which will be able to help us arrest the situation, contrary to the expectation of the people that these activities will significantly lower our production. The interventions will be able to make up for the losses of these very challenges we face.
All right, Fifi, we're so grateful that you joined us for this discussion on Ghana's cocoa sector amidst plans by Cocoa Board to plant more trees and sheds for the industry across various cocoa farms. But away from that, the Bank of Ghana has declined an invitation to appear before Parliament to assist with investigations over the revocation of the banking licenses of UNIBANK and UTBank. Writing through its lawyers, Benchel and Angel, Lecha and Ankuma, the central bank said it will not participate in the investigation being conducted by Parliament, arguing the profiles in the face flies in the face of the Constitution. We have more in our extract. According to the Bank of Ghana, though the owners of the two defunct banks have the right to seek redress for their grievances, the prescribed resolution mechanisms do not include recourse to Parliament. The regulator of the banking industry further argues that the parliamentary petition is contrary to Section 3, Clause 2 and Section 4, Clause 1A of the Bank of Ghana's Act 2002 Act 613. Its response comes after Prince Kofi Amoaben and Dr. Kwabena Dufour petitioned Parliament to probe the central bank's conduct and the Ghana Stock Exchange over the withdrawal of the banking licenses. The petition, amongst others, also asked Parliament to order the Bank of Ghana to restore the license. Parliament, after setting up the 7-member committee to probe the issues, however, asked the central bank to file a response to the petition. UTBank and UNIBANK licenses were revoked in 2017 and 2019 when the central bank described them as insolvent, meaning they do not have the capacity to settle depositors' funds or honor the obligations due customers. Well, that was an excerpt of the report in which the Bank of Ghana has declined invitation to help parliamentary investigation into the revocation of the banking license. We shall be keeping our eyes on Parliament to get you updates regarding the responses and the interventions moving forward. Well, food prices are expected to go up by 20% very soon. That's according to the Chamber of Agribusiness Ghana. The Chamber states that the possible increase to recent hikes in prices of fuel transportation fare are the attributes to their projection. The Chief Executive of the Chamber, Anthony Morrison, says the aforementioned factors have led to the increase in the cost of production for farmers. He spoke to Joy Business at the launch of the Ghana-Italy Agribusiness Digital Lab organized by the Talent Trade Agency in Accra.
Food prices keep increasing. The cost of inputs for food prices are always increasing because of the forex differentials and the cost of productivity, and we do not hedge our agro inputs, so the cost is always against the farmer. So as it stands now, fuel prices have gone up, transportation have gone up, insurance have gone up, spare parts have gone up, forex is increasing, so food prices will definitely increase. And I've been discussing this with our colleagues and members of the chamber and the private sector at large. Food prices will go up no less than 20% because the odds are against us. The climate change is against us. If the farmer is going to do maize that is going to get like 4 tons and he's not going to get it, he's going to add a little bit on it. From 2018 up to today, maize, the price of maize have gone up over 30%. Okay, we used to buy maize at 58 cedis for 50 kg 2017. Today it's 120 Ghana cedis for 50 kg. This is not what we want to see. This will not help the poultry sector. Egg price have stabilized for some time, but today the price of one egg is 120, 1 cedi, 20 pesos.
When you say food prices are going to go up more than 20%, what's your justification for that?
Well, I've just, there are benchmarks, and there are some influencers that instigate food prices. One, transport fares. Transport fares have gone up by 13%, okay? Spare parts have gone up. Petrol have gone up. For the past 2 months, things have gone up in a way that it's becoming very difficult for the farmer to become sustainable on his farm.
Now, the Environmental Protection Agency says the reclamation of Galamsey degraded land by persons without the expertise can cause disaster in the future. The Chief Executive of the EPA, Henry Kwabena Kokofu, explains poorly reclaimed lands can sink, leading to loss of lives. Nanaya Aljima has more in this report.
In dealing with impact of small-scale mining, some communities affected by the menace have taken to the reclamation of the lands. Some are recalling the miners to undertake the restoration. Mr. Kokufu explains, though the effort is commendable, it must be done right.
I've heard people who have reclaimed the land and all that. That poses yet another danger, because you just go in there, do simple backfilling, and with time it will just sink in, and people unsuspectedly will just get underground there. So scientifically, there is a way to do it. First, you put the rocky materials down there, then you cover with the gravels. That's what we call the bedding soil, and then the topsoil, which contains the nutrients, soil nutrients, will then be covered. And then you go further to rehabilitate. That's where you put on the vegetation cover.
Pits mined illegally lie gaping in many communities affected by Galamsey, posing threats to lives. As part of government efforts to rehabilitate the areas, mapping of all degraded lands is done as the first step in the reclamation plan. Mr. Kokufu says they are racing behind time to reclaim the areas captured, especially hotspot districts.
We've already mapped out 5, the 2 western regions and some the upper east. Yes, we've mapped them out to know. And within each of the regions are also hotspot districts where most of these open pits are available and are crying for reclamation. So once we do that scientific mapping up and we are done with, then we will engage those companies that will have the requisite knowledge and machinery to undertake that project and all that. So very soon, we don't have much time on our hands. Once these things takes off, it's going to create employment, necessary employment for most of the down-level participants in these illegal mining activities. I mean, those who go into the pits and who really do the job down there, they are ready and eager to come in and work with us at the reclamation level. And we will pay them considerably, I mean, comparable to what they go to the pits they get. Recent research have shown that they get about 30 cedis a day for doing 9 hours of pit work within these Galamsey sites.
As part of measures to deal with further degradation of the land, the EPA is deploying officers to districts, especially those rich in gold, to ensure responsible mining. Reporting for Joy News, Nana Ojima, Kumasi.
Now, the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, has expressed concern over recent alarm raised by the European Union regarding some unsustainable fishing practices here in Ghana. According to the Director of Agriculture and Rural Development of ECOWAS, ALAIN TRAORE, Ghana is a key member state and any action by the EU is likely to affect others in the sub-region. He spoke to Joy Business on the sites of a regional workshop on the popularization and dissemination of a strategic framework for sustainable fisheries and aquaculture development in Ghana.
The regional workshop, among other things, is expected to help member countries identify weaknesses and study best practices. It is also to end with a roadmap on the implementation strategy for the framework on sustainable fisheries and aquaculture development in the sub-region. According to the Regional Director for Aquaculture and Rural Development, ALAIN TRAORE, the regional body, through partner agencies like the Food and Agricultural Organization, is committed to helping Ghana and other member states to deal with the menace of illegal fishing.
Programs such as PESCAO and FIRST program have helped all the members. We already have now today strategic action plan. If there is a word to say now, time has come for implementation. Raise funds and help the youth people to invest on this sector and generate income, create jobs. This is the main objective of the strategic framework.
Are you concerned about EU's current alarms that they are raising about IU fishing on our water bodies?
Of course, we are concerned about it, but it's mainly bilateral negotiation. You know, ECOWAS, even though the member state give us some go ahead in terms of community law, member states still have the sovereignty somehow on some topics that are related to bilateral cooperation, bilateral negotiation. So we leave that one to the member state officials. Now we help at the regional level to share lessons, to share best practices so that member states will learn from each other and empower themselves.
Meanwhile, the Chief Director for the Ministry of Fisheries and Aquaculture, KWESI ARMOH-HIMBSON, believes the efforts by the regional body will go a long way to help the countries fight illegal fishing as well as promote sustainable aquaculture.
There's the need to address that one and also find out how best you can fill any gaps. So if there's a workshop like that looking at strategies, then it's very useful for us because as a country we ourselves are working on how to improve the marine stock and also turning to aquaculture development to see how we can use that one to fill the gaps in the declining tonnage of fish which is landed at the beaches. So it's very useful to us to participate.
The two-day workshop will help members contribute to other fisheries policies for the sub-region.
You're watching The Marketplace. Let's take a short break. We'll be right back with more business news. To stay. Welcome back to the program. Samsung Ghana looks forward to more sales following collaboration with SES HD Plus, a satellite broadcast service provider, and Inagra to deliver My HD Plus on some selected 4,000 Samsung televisions, 4K Samsung televisions rather. Now, the integrated operator app, My HD Plus, will offer users direct access to high-definition service straight out of the box as part of a new TV installation or through an existing app store or compatible TVs. There is more in this report.
The launch of My HD Plus app on Samsung TVs is a form of integration of SES HD Plus Ghana's broadcast service into some selected Samsung TVs using high-definition service provider Nagra's TV Key Cloud technology. Head of Electronics at Samsung, Benjamin Efrifa, is upbeat about sales following the integration. He believes customers understand realism and would opt for high-definition televisions.
TV is about picture quality and also being able to experience the best in sound and image. So, of course, once we start broadcasting in 4K, the end user or the customer, the Ghanaian customer, can get to now understand what we've been talking about, the best in sound output, the best in picture quality, realism as it should be, TV as should be. So yes, for us, we expect this to be a game changer for us to expand our sales beyond what it is now. Minimum price for a 4K TV is 3,000 Ghana cedis, and it cascades upwards to as much as 79,000. It depends on the size that you're buying, of course.
General Manager for SES HD Plus, THEODORE ASAMPONG, says the level of investment in this collaboration cannot be quantified, but the aim is to provide consumers with high-quality viewership.
I can't quantify it, but yes, every partner has done all they can to make sure that this has become a reality. Well, the HD Plus product is available to all Ghanaians either via the decoders or the TV. So if you already have a multi-TV platform, you can just pick up a decoder, a HD Plus decoder, and have access to the channels in high definition. If you also already have a Samsung TV, you can download the app and be able to receive the channels on your TV if you're connected to the satellite.
Now, the Association of Oil Marketing Companies says its members cannot be blamed for the increase in fuel prices. Of course, its president says the prices are adjusted anytime there is a change on the international market. According to the chief executive, AGYEMANG-DUAH, at best, the OMCs can be sensitive to consumers anytime there is an upward adjustment in petrol products.
We are not a charity organization to begin with. We are a business. And you must appreciate the fact that the first time when the prices for the taxes were increased, we had an equal measure of price increase. The next window, the prices were going up in the world market. We didn't do anything. We were quiet because we were sensitive to the issue of the fact that, 4 weeks running and you're going to increase the price, do too much on the consumers. So we swallowed it. Now, but remember, we cannot continue swallowing as we move along. At some point, we may have to come back again and increase the price. As of now, our cedi-dollar relationship is fine. We don't have problems with that. The only thing we can make it go up is the international price. If it goes up, then obviously we have to respond.
Well, let's now take you to our Money Lab, where we bring you some sound financial tips.
On today's edition of Money Lab, we want to look at how investors can reduce risk or manage risk in their investment portfolio. There are two factors that investors have to consider, and this is age and the amount that you are investing. We all know that a risk that a 20-year-old who has just started work will take is different from the kind of risk a 55-year-old who has just 5 years to retirement will take. Also, if you are losing 10,000 out of a total investment portfolio of 1 million, is different from losing 15,000 out of an investment portfolio of 30,000. So anytime you are going to look at investing, ensure that you spread your wings around. Invest in different asset classes, some short-term, medium-term, and others long-term. This will help you diversify your portfolio and minimize your risk. Also, you can consider investing across various countries and currencies to help you in minimizing your risk. Join us on the next edition of Money Lab as we continue our discussion.
And that's how we end Marketplace with me, Charles Ayete. For more news, you log on to myjoyonline.com, where we have all the stories you need from business to sports and international political news. Once again, we're grateful that you joined us, and of course, enjoy the rest of our programs.